A White House correspondent stands at the podium, voice shaking, revealing she was pistol whipped and robbed in our nation's capital. Her attacker still on the streets after 6 arrests and 6 releases. But something has changed this week. 87 arrests in one night, 0 carjackings in 7 days, federal marshals sweeping block by block, repeat offenders finally locked up, citizens walking freely for the first time in years, while Chicago's mayor babbles about affordable housing, solving crime. Trump's unleashing a law enforcement tsunami that's transforming D.C. from murder capital to America's safest city. The results are so dramatic, even liberal reporters are thanking God. What you're about to see will restore your faith in justice, so do not look away. When criminals rule D.C. streets, smart families prepare for the worst. That's why My Patriot Supply matters now more than ever. Their 3-month emergency food kit saves you $100 today. Think about it. When law and order breaks down, grocery stores empty in hours. This kit delivers 2,000 plus calories daily for 90 days. Real American-made meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, snacks stored in military-grade buckets. Shelf stable for 25 years. No MSG, no foreign junk. While Trump's marshals restore order in D.C., prepare your family for any crisis. Whether it's crime waves, supply chain collapse, or natural disasters, you are covered. Fast free shipping, 30-day guarantee. Go to preparewithgary.com right now. That's preparewithgary.com. Be ready before chaos hits your neighborhood. And speaking of chaos in the neighborhood, this video, stunning video, has just hit the wires. Subx.news. Chicago has become a joke. Nordstrom smash and grab. Imagine being able to steal some cars, drive into downtown with 15 people, rob a store, drive out of downtown without anyone stopping you while tourists videotape the event, laughing like it's a show. Have you seen this yet? Let's watch it.
Here they go. All right, these guys just robbed, I don't know. Oh, they robbed Nordstrom. Here they go. They're just running. I've always wanted to see this in real life. Where do you think they're going to go, Adam?
I don't know. It's super exciting. I feel like a real Chicago.
That's a stolen car for sure. Here's another guy that they stole. All right, these guys just robbed, I don't know. Oh, they robbed Nordstrom.
The tourist is like, yeah, I've always wanted to see this in real life. And then this, on the same day that robbery occurred in broad daylight in Chicago, Governor J.B. Pritzker sounding the alarm on the real crisis that we face today. Donald Trump's overreach is what our founders warned against. It's unprecedented, unwarranted, and un-American. There is no emergency here that calls for military intervention. How many of those smash and grabs are happening over there on Michigan Avenue every single day, Governor? That's exactly what President Trump is stopping in Washington, D.C. And yes, he is threatening to do it in Chicago. All right? Don't worry. There will be enough food left over after the National Guard steps in. All right? He had this to say also 23 hours ago to Donald Trump and his administration. Governor Pritzker says, "If you hurt my people, nothing will stop me. Not time or political circumstance from making sure you face justice under our constitutional rule of law." Yeah. And of course, he got roasted in the comments. Steve Gruber, I'm sure he's shaking his boots. The only thing that's unstoppable to you is going to the Golden Corral. Carol Mack, an all-you-can-eat buffet would definitely stop you. Disrespected trucker, eat a cheeseburger and calm down. Jason Fike posting yeah, a meme of Bart Simpson. Jillian Anderson, the lawlessness running rampant in Chicago is hurting your people. Exactly, Jillian. That's hurting the people of Chicago, the people of Illinois. And where are you, Governor Pritzker? Going to the all-you-can-eat buffet. The dinner bell will stop you and any specials at the Golden Corral. Another one. You might want to listen to your constituents. The Democrats are completely ignorant of reality, as you all have armed security and live in gated communities. Yeah. So that's the voice of the people going after Pritzker when, ironically, we have a freaking smash and grab in broad daylight on the very same day he's saying nothing's wrong in our state. Democrats don't want Trump to send in the National Guard to help make their city safer, but we're completely fine with Tim Walz using the National Guard to treat Minnesota residents like this back in 2020. Remember that? Remember when they sent out the National Guard to make sure people were in their homes and masked up and locked down? Sure, law-abiding citizens doing absolutely nothing wrong. The National Guard was called out. But you have lawlessness raging in your streets, and you call President Trump a dictator? Spare me. Here's President Trump at his cabinet meeting talking about the Democrat-run cashless bail system that's a disaster, and that's what's destroying Illinois as well.
Except I want to make this like friendly, but the places we're talking about happen to be virtually all Democrat-run. Now, take a look at your 25 places that are most troubled. Everyone, except maybe one, and it's way back in number 24 or 25, but essentially 25 out of 25 are run by Democrats, and cashless bail was a disaster. When they did that, and I believe it was instituted first in New York, but when they did cashless bail, that was a tragedy for this, because that's when it really started getting bad. When somebody kills somebody, you don't say you can come out, you don't have to put up anything. You put that person in jail and you find out whether or not it's true, but you don't give cashless bail with a promise to come back in a couple of months. We'll start talking to you, because they go out and they kill other people, and you can't do that. The cashless bail has been, it's just a woke thing. It's got to stop. You see that, Christy, better than anybody. It's got to stop. It causes unbelievable, and we're doing that. We're stopping it in D.C. I want to make this.
It needs to stop nationwide. It empowers criminals just like this, like we just showed you. Smash and grab right there. Unfreaking real. When I saw that, I'm like, I got to show everybody at Next News. Everyone's got to see this. Here's the president talking about long-term safety in D.C.
Plan and ensuring that D.C. For a lot of victims like myself, a big concern is long-term sustainability. Can you share with the American public about your plan in ensuring that D.C. is safe in the long term?
Longer term, yeah. Well, it's a great question. Number one, we want to stay there for longer than 30 days. As you know, we have an absolute mandate, and I can extend it, but I'd rather not have to declare a national emergency, because by that time, right now there's not an emergency. We've done, as you sort of said yourself, it feels like a different world. We've got under arrest and prosecution, and we've taken some, and we're in the process of taking hundreds out of our country that shouldn't be here. And these are hardcore professional criminals. They were born to be criminals, in my opinion, but they're seriously bad people. Murderers, drug dealers, you know them all. You see them all as you walk beautifully to work, and every once in a while somebody puts a gun to your head, because that's what happened in your case. We're getting a lot of them out of the country. We're putting a lot of them in prison because we're afraid to bring them out of the country. They could come back. As good as we're doing, they could come back. We don't want them back. And that's going to solve a lot of it. We also think there should be a presence here for long enough. We should also work with our police department, because you have very good police here. Very good. We're working very well with them, by the way. And we have to work together for a while. We have some people that are very tough and very strong. Working with the police, they're going to be able to handle it. And you know what? If it gets a little bit bad, just a little bit, I'll bring them back in and we'll straighten it out and we'll make it perfect. You're going to be so safe in the city. And you're going to have the city beautified.
For a lot of big...
And the city will be beautified. Continuing. Here's a Chicago residence. The governor as well as the mayor should be on board with it, so we can get a bit more of security in Chicago.
In Chicago,
and of course
reaction was
CNN injecting their own position on the matter.
My first reaction was that this is a good thing. I think that the governor as well as the mayor should be on board with it, just so we can get a bit more of security in Chicago the way that we need.
The crime has dropped since 2024. Do you feel like the city feels safer?
No, not at all. No, especially with the police being defunded. My first reaction was...
Especially with the police being defunded. Here's Iris Tao, a White House correspondent, thanking President Trump for cracking down on D.C. crime after revealing she'd been robbed and pistol whipped outside of her apartment at the cabinet meeting.
And public. My name is Iris Tao. I'm a White House correspondent for MTV, the sister media of the Epoch Times. So more than 2 years ago, it was a Saturday morning in broad daylight. I was on my way to work, and a young man with a black ski mask pointed a gun at my face and threatened me to hand over my phone, my wallet, my laptop, and everything else. And when I refused, he used the butt of his handgun to strike me across the face, in the cheek, or what some people call pistol whip me, before running away. And that has deeply traumatized myself and my family. Ever since, I've never dared to walk in the street of DC at night, ever. And my family was extremely worried. So, Mr. President, thank you so much for what you're doing right now.
Thank you, Iris, for being honest.
Such incidents involved not just me, but also my family. If he had shot me, I could have died right there in the middle of nowhere without my families or my friends knowing at the age of back then, I think 23.
Right.
Just starting my career here in DC without even starting a family. Right now, I'm very blessed to have this opportunity.
So you had a gun pointed at your head, and you probably figured that he's going to pull the trigger because these are animals that don't know what the hell. They couldn't care less. The pulling the trigger to him is a very minor event, and I'm sure he's done it before. So how did you? And you did refuse to give it, which would probably, maybe somebody would say that was not the right decision, right? But you refused. But I understand that. So and then he hit you real hard.
Yes.
It's really amazing that you weren't shot. That was.
I'm very blessed, and that's why having this opportunity to stand here to share my story today. One, I'm very grateful for God for allowing me to still survive to this day, but also to Mr. President. Thank you for now making DC safer.
Thank you very much.
For us, for our families, for my parents, on my behalf of my parents, and now my baby on the way. Thank you so much.
Other reporters and journalists, good people, and you don't have to say it, but that have also been attacked violently, and not violently too, but pretty badly. But and I bet you see a big difference in the streets right now. And this is all
an amazing testimony right there. Iris Tao, Epoch Times. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson says the city must build affordable housing to reduce crime, rather than bring in more police and federal agents. Really? Is that the answer? Affordable housing? Give me a break. Oh, looks like we have Brandon Johnson going on MSNBC looking like a deer in headlights. I've told you this before. It's an open secret. Brandon Johnson has severe anxiety. Literally hides out in his house for weeks on end. People don't know where he is. He's not governing. He's terrified to face the people because he is in over his head. So the fact that he's actually going out in public and he's making media appearances, it actually says something. Because he knows he can't hide. He cannot hide from what is coming. And that is justice for the people of Chicago who have lived under terror of crime for far too long. So let's listen. Joe Scarborough asked him, do you believe the streets of Chicago would be safer if there were more uniformed police officers?
Would be safer. Would you also like to get federal funding to help put 5,000 more cops on the street in Chicago? Would that help drive down crime?
Well, look, policing by itself is not the full strategy.
No, I understand
what
that.
Oh, my goodness. Scarborough throws him a softball. Would you like to see more police on your street? If you had federal money and you could see more police on your street. Well, policing is not the problem.
I know. Would you also like to get federal funding to help put 5,000 more cops on the street in Chicago? Would that help drive down crime?
Well, look, policing by itself is not the full strategy.
No, I understand that. You've talked about the other things you want, and I said those are good and important programs, but I'm asking also, would 5,000 more police officers on the street in Chicago be helpful to go along with all of those social programs that a lot of cities are engaging in and having success with?
Well, look, here's the best way I can put it, Joe, is that in the 90s when I was in high school, we had 3,000 more police officers and we had 900 people being murdered every single year in Chicago. It's just not policing alone.
You grew up in Elgin, bro. Okay?
Of course, we want more detectives.
I know it's not policing alone, but I know it's not policing alone. You've told me everything else you want. I'm curious, and this does come down to an ideological difference between people. Do you believe that the streets of Chicago would be safer if there were more uniformed police officers on the streets of Chicago?
Scarborough asking him 3 times. 3 times. Direct question.
I believe the city of Chicago and cities across America would be safer if we actually had, affordable housing. Look,
okay,
I'm not saying that
Oh my God. This guy, Scarborough, is throwing him the softball after softball after softball. And he goes, affordable housing. Dude, this guy's a freaking clown. This guy is a clown. Obviously, any person with common sense would say, yeah, you know what? If we had more police on the street, if we had a stronger police presence, we certainly would have higher visibility. That would be a deterrent to crime. Oh, this is too good, man.
The question I asked. My question is, and I just need a yes or a no, do you believe the streets of Chicago would be safer if you got all of those other extraordinary programs put back into place, which do have a history of being successful? If that's...
I'm sorry, I just watched Brandon Johnson. Just watch. Okay, listen, I'm having too much fun here, but because I know, Brandon's just freaking out right now. Look at him, deer in headlights. Watch his eyes dart. Watch his eyes dart. He's looking for the exit. All right? We're at 1 minute and 41 seconds into this clip. So I'm going to roll it back just a hair. I'm actually going to put it in slow motion. I'm going to put it in super slow motion and see if you could just watch his eyes dart. We're at 141. I'll go to maybe 135. Now, the audio is going to be distorted because it's playing at 25% speed. But just watch. Let's see if we can catch it. This is now at 1 minute and 33 seconds. So just be careful. It's going to sound distorted.
All those...
Okay, I'll just mute it. Okay, wait for it. Wait for it. He's asking the question for the... There it is. Oh, do you see that? You see him dart. He's freaking out. He can't handle it. He's like, where's the exit? I need to go. Scarborough's roasting me on a place that's supposed to be a safe space. Yeah, guys, I'm going on MSNBC today. Oh, yeah, you're going to do just fine. MSNBC, nothing to worry about. Damn, Scarborough asked me the same question 4 times. I'm sure there's going to be a 5th one coming up.
Being successful, if that's complemented by having 5,000 more cops on the streets of Chicago.
I don't believe that we should narrow it down to just police officers, Joe, is what I'm saying. That is an antiquated approach. I'm saying we've invested in detectives.
An antiquated approach, he said. He said that. He literally said, more police is an antiquated approach. Because remember, he wants to defund the police, right? That's their whole mantra. It's been
Are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm agreeing with you that all of these other social programs are extraordinarily important. I just need a yes or a no, and then this will be the last time I ask. If you get all of those other social programs that 800 million that New York City does, Los Angeles, other people do with great success, would an additional 5,000 cops on the streets in Chicago help complement those programs to make Chicago safer?
Look, we are working hard to make sure that our police department is fully supported. I don't believe.
Oh, yeah, dude. He's not. Well, come on.
That just simply putting out an arbitrary number around police officers is the answer. What I'm saying is policing and affordable housing. It's policing and mental and behavioral health care services. It's policing and youth employment. It's a full package. Of course, we want to make sure that our police department is fully supported. That's why I've invested in our Detectives Bureau, because what we have seen in the city of Chicago
and what we've seen in Washington, D.C., is what happens when you have the police fully supported.
Solve crime, it acts and serves as a deterrent. It's policing and all of the other efforts that we're doing. Here's the last thing that I'll say to that. The federal government could work stronger to coordinate with my police department to get guns off the streets of Chicago.
Oh, my goodness. You want to coordinate with the federal government to get guns off the street? Buckle up, dude. Trump's coming.
Seen these.
Oh, he's going to help you a lot.
Coordination efforts work. Just a couple of weeks ago, the ATF, working with my police department, we removed over 150 guns off the streets of Chicago that were trafficked in through Mississippi and Indiana. No one is saying that police officers don't play an incredible role in driving safety. They play an absolute pivotal role in that. But we have asked law enforcement to do too much. Police officers are being asked to be social workers, counselors.
You guys were advocating for that. Police officers are doing too much? It's because you don't have enough. Therefore, Joe Scarborough has to take you to task and ask you the question 5-6 times. Dude, this guy needs some more Xanax. Because these are the scenes happening in your city, Brandon. Okay, broad daylight. Imagine if you had 5,000 more police officers on the street of Chicago. You think this would be happening? You think if you had, if you ended cash bail, this would be happening? Of course it wouldn't be happening. But these are your policies killing your people. Buckle up, dude. Trump is on the way. Oh, man. Oh, baby. What a joke. 13 hours ago, the Department of Justice making D.C. safe again. 87 more arrests, 4 illegal firearms seized last night in D.C., where not a single carjacking has occurred over the past week. Oh, speaking of Chicago, 13 hours ago, here is a Chicago resident.
Without fear, our children can't walk around the community without fear of being hurt or kidnapped or having a drive-by. So it's what these numbers that they're expressing, we don't feel it in our quality of life. Our children can't walk around the community without fear.
Children cannot walk around the community. But J.B. Pritzker can go into any buffet he wants without any fear. He'll probably even get a private table. Stephen Miller, what's he going to say?
I would say to the mayor of all these Democrat cities, like Chicago, what you are doing to your own citizens is evil. Subjecting your own citizens to this constant bloodbath and then rejoicing in it is evil. And you should praise God every single day that President Trump is in the White House. I would say,
amen. We do praise God every single day.
Free. President Trump has literally set the people of Washington, D.C. free. They're so happy now that they can just go out and live their lives, go to their favorite restaurant, go to their favorite bar, go to their favorite pool hall, go to their favorite park. You see moms taking kids out to parks they haven't been to in years because they know the police are there. They know that President Trump is there with his law enforcement to protect them. It's a thing of beauty.
It's a thing of beauty. President Trump cracking the whip in D.C. Secretary Noem, Washington, D.C. is like a different world now.
The next election. They had a president before that was leading the way and giving them cover to break any law that they wanted to remake their state so they could guarantee the next election and guarantee their power. But now we have a president that cares about the average American citizen who gets up every single day and goes to work. And his message is resonating with the American people. People finally have some justice in their lives. They can walk down their streets and be free. Here in Washington, D.C., it's like a whole different world because of what President Trump has done. And so the American people are feeling freedom again. I think they lived under the oppression of Democrat rule in so many of these cities. They forgot what it felt like to actually be free and to be safe. But now, for the last 11 days in D.C., people are feeling different, and they recognize what America used to be, and they want it back permanently. So these Democrat governors, they need to wake up because the people in their communities and in their cities recognize how they've threatened their way of life, and they're not going to take it anymore. They had a president before that.
We got a little bit more to get through. We're almost done with this segment. Don't go anywhere. Let's check in with this soldier, former soldier.
And out of the country, I'm good with it. I was a soldier myself. I think it's important for people from out of town and out of the country to feel safe in our nation's capital. I'm good with it.
Here's more. Man wanted connection with armed carjacking, says he's been in and out of D.C. jail 6 times.
Be there very long. One man wanted in connection with an armed carjacking in Maryland told us that, why are you sending me back to jail? I won't even be there very long.
The judge is literally going to say we're going to put him on a 3-day hold. Then once the 3-day hold is up, and a runner never shows up. I done been over D.C. jail 6 times for the same warrant. They never show up. D.C. jail has to release me. They release me. It's the same thing every time. The same thing. Every time.
One man wanted in connection with an armed carjacking in Maryland told us that, why are you sending me back to jail? I won't even be there very long.
Won't even be there very long. Not anymore. There's a new sheriff in town, baby. Donald J. Trump. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. This is what happens when you put law enforcement back in charge instead of social workers. Iris Tao's attacker bragged and assaulted her. And she rejected. She survived. She had the opportunity to thank President Trump right there in that cabinet meeting. But now the revolving door for criminals has been welded shut. 87 arrests in one night. Gang members off the street. Not a single carjacking in weeks, and citizens actually feeling safe in their own capital. Meanwhile, Chicago's mayor can't even answer a question. He thinks affordable housing stops bullets. Tell that to the mother whose kid can't walk to school without dodging drive-bys. Tell that to families living in terror while Democrats coddle criminals. So here's the question. Should repeat violent offenders get bail? Yes or no? Because D.C. just proved what happens when you lock up criminals. Crime disappears. It's not complicated. Okay, it's not about root cause. It's about handcuffs. Trump has promised to make D.C. safe again. Promise kept. You can show your support for our work here at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and pick out your favorite member of the administration with our American Badass series.